Hello, everybody, and welcome to another beautiful panel talk, Spirit Talks panel talk. Today, we have some incredible, beautiful souls and speakers here to share their awakening experience with us. And this is their awakening experiences that change their lives. So welcome, Craig, Aveni, and Cath to this beautiful talk today. I'm so grateful to have you in this space. And I can't wait to hear your stories and what's unfolding.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And
Thank
so,
you,
yeah, we had a few techie issues coming into this space, and we're just going to put a beautiful container of light around this beautiful portal that we're in and ask that the highest frequencies of love and light just surround us and protect us and guide us to bring through all of these beautiful messages that we are ready to share from the heart. So let's kick off. Craig, you're at the top of my screen, so please feel free to share what was your awakening experience and how did it change your life?
I've had quite a few, but I come from a different perspective. I'm a Taurian. I'm a very grounded type of person, and the perspective I hold on this particular topic is if people have gone through some like devastating changes, like devastating things have happened in their life, you come through past those things, even if you're somewhat unhealed, the perspective that you gain in life is an awakening moment. Later on, you might come back and heal some of those aspects where you might have found a strength or a truth within the moment that wasn't quite healthy, but it helped you get past the situation, and that put a tool in your toolbox, so to speak. And later on, you come back and you find the right tool for the right job. So that's the perspective I come with those things. I could go through my life story, but I'd take up all the hours on the on this video. But I'd share the more current one, I guess. So it's the journey of becoming a multi-author book writer. So in the Warriors of Light project, I've got a chapter in that book, and my other book that's coming out after that is Alchemy of the Soul's Journey, and that's about finding people's individual destiny path, guided by what I see spirit, how spirit communicates with us on a daily basis. So from that point, my newest awakening moment is around sharing, group sharing. Quite often, all the way through my life, there's been a theme. And this is what I was talking about. Like, you'll see backwards in life that there's, after you come over these challenges, there's a theme that's playing out. So the latest theme that I see playing out is I've been a lone wolf, doing all my things, not having anyone to rely on gave me the tools and the strength to do it all on my own. But this is not what this life is about. This life is about sharing your gifts and coming in and helping others share their gifts, and also receiving as much as what you give. There needs to be a balance of all things. Everything is balance.
So I agree with
Is that close enough?
Yeah, that's perfect, because we always think about our awakening moments as being a big bang, and it's not always a big bang. We can have many different small awakening moments, and I love that you say you gain this perspective And you don't, in that awakening moment, you don't have all the answers, but something's landed for you. Something went, okay, I get it now. It's a shift in that perspective. And I love that, that you saying that or explaining it in such a different way. It makes total sense to me. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And the other thing is that once you've had those experiences, you see things in other people. You gain an insight, either via subconscious cognition, or I would call it intuition. And you begin to piece together the pieces between conscious thought, subconscious thought, and intuition. But I'd like to remind people that what they see is only ever a reflection of yourself. What you're seeing in someone else might be similar to your story, and that's how you see it. And it's another learning lesson again to check in with your previous lessons on that specific topic.
Yeah, totally. And it all kind of, the golden threads of all of those different lessons, they merge into one, don't they? And it then starts making so much more sense. Or sometimes it takes a while for that to really come together and the pieces of the puzzle to make a whole as such, right? Or, sometimes people do have that real pivotal moments, awakening moments, and everything makes sense to them. So we're all very unique in our own awakening journey as such, aren't we?
Yep, there are big shifts, and like you said, there are little shifts, and as you exactly what you said, the tiny little threads that you see backwards, and you see how it led you to the perfect place in the perfect time, and you get a bit of an inkling of where you think all those past threads took you to the current place and where you think that they're taking you to. So yeah, you have a bit of an insight into the future.
Yeah, love that. And Aveni, what is your thoughts on all of this? And share some of your story, your awakening story with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is interconnected, like you're saying, right? And these, I like to see them as gifts or jewels of wisdom, right? That come forward through our puzzle piecing of watching what our patterns were, what we've experienced in our past, in our childhood. Then you can even track that back to lineages, right? And then further and further in ancient cultures. And you can then, like you're saying, Craig, this expansion of consciousness of looking at, well, hang on a minute, we're collectively have been on the same path, evolving consciously, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually as a collective. And what happens, back in, even if it's not our part of our tradition or our tribes or our culture, but you can see the mirror reflection of what each culture is experiencing or has experienced through trauma is the direct reflection of what we all are individually experiencing ourselves. So it just proves that in that we are all one and oneness. And that's just got these visuals of the golden threads, what you're saying, Nat. And, for me, when I connected in with that point of reference of just expanding that consciousness, just asking to see a little bit more, asking to see the broader picture, it brings you to that place of humbleness. It brings you back to that place of, wow, okay, what we have been taught is actually not real. And what we are allowing ourselves to express through our inner child vision, right? Like our inner child always has this wild imagination and creativity, seeing, the magic and the fairies and all that sort of stuff. And gifting ourselves the yes to allowing ourselves to see that expansion as an adult, I think that's part of freedom, right? That's part of our consciousness freedom. So yeah, I love what you were sharing there, Craig. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah. This reality is what we make of it. And in every single moment, it's bringing us closer to that deeper space of connection with ourselves. And that's why these awakening moments, I feel, are so pivotal, important. And we have soul gifts. I call them soul gifts, people that come into our life at exactly the right time, experiences that we have. Or we could be driving down the motorway and see a billboard, and all of a sudden we have an aha moment. Or listen to a song on the radio and we have an aha moment. So it's like these moments that land in between moments, you know, of living and being and experiencing, which is so beautiful. And so I love what you're saying, that, you know, this is not real, but we make it real. We make it what we want to make it. Through our own awakenings, we then have a choice. What comes next? What do we want to experience next? How do we want to experience this life, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
How do we create it? How do we co-create it together? How do we visualize that next evolution? How do we support that next evolution of consciousness, and through our body, through our spiritual connection?
Yeah. And Cath, what do you have to say about this?
Oh, look, I am constantly blown away. My mind is blown. I agree with everything everybody's saying, because I actually believe that all the information we're getting is being shared anyway. So I find that I can relate, especially if I'm on a relatable platform, obviously, but I can gravitate to something. But I find that the drop-ins that I get are so relatable to what other people are getting in various ways. Perhaps they've got more information. I get a single sentence. They probably know I can't hold on to much more than that. So I get a single sentence and then I go run with that. But I did have a kapow moment, and it was in lockdown. And I was in Queenstown, but I was above on the Crown Terrace, off-grid house. And everything was aligned. I was walking, I was happy, unfortunately, I was everything that maybe a lot of people weren't, but I wasn't stressed. And I was fully in my comfort zone. And I was sitting on the deck listening to Jeffrey Allen on Mind Valley, and he's going, oh, rub your hands together, you know, and I rub my hands together and I feel the energy. I'm going, oh yeah, feel the energy. Yeah, I can feel the energy. And then didn't feel it. And then I forgot that I'd watched that one, and I watched it again. And this time I rubbed my hands together and my hands took off, like all over me. And from then on in, things came really, I got so many downloads so fast, my head was spinning literally. But because I was completely unaware of what I was doing and getting into, and I was frantically searching for platforms to find out what was happening, I ended up having a psychotic attack, or a psychic attack, whichever you like to put it, but I pretty much feel it's psychic. But through that, so I'd been working on myself for a whole year prior, and then realizing I was looping in patterns, and I got help with that. And then, yes, after the attack, I went to the beach, and then we came back, and then we made decisions to move. And so it actually was a major catalyst for change. And then I've just, and while I was in that mental state of fear, which I was until I got around it, till I sorted myself out, you know, where I said that I'm my own divine sovereign self, nobody can own me, nobody. Yes, we made this change and came to the beach, and it's just been, I did ask the powers that be. I said, okay, I get it, set me back to when I was age 4. I said, this was all too fast. I need to go back to when I was 4. And of course, when I was 4, I had joy. There was unadulterated, just childhood joy. So my life now has encompassed as much joy as I can manifest, walking in nature, writing poetry, sketches, dance, and any other multitude of bits and pieces that bring me joy. So, and then healing. Yeah, being able to heal and tone and all of that comes with it. So I 100% agree with just about everything anybody has to say on it, because it's all out there in its various forms, of what you allow to come in. No, so it's yeah. But I do say to new people who have a kapow moment, don't go into fear. Don't be led by people who are thinking they're trying to help, who are on a different agenda or platform than you, because that can put you into further fear. So the very first thing I'd say is don't go into fear.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on, especially in that first awakening moment of almost being like a sponge then, wanting to really draw in all the information that you can possibly think of, and wanting to find people that can help you, or like-minded souls that can help you with this. And often people, they go to the first thing that feels okay, or the first person that might know something different than that they don't know. And I find a lot of this, and then people do get kind of pulled into another matrix, into a different, completely different web of information, and they get taken down a tangent or a different path of what actually is their truth.
Yes.
What is their truth? What is it that you have now awakened to, and all your different facets and forms and multidimensionality that you are? What is that remembrance for you in this moment, right? And it's so beautiful, Cath, to hear that you've gone on the journey of listening to your soul, and then finding and, you know, doing what you felt was the right thing for you, which is amazing. And not a lot of people have that, or know what to do, because it sometimes feels scary to go through an awakening moment. It can be.
Absolutely,
Yeah. What have you got to share the rest, Craig, Aveni?
Well, I've had quite a few spiritual awakened moments. What's coming to my mind now is when I first began in the beauty industry. And so it's one snippet of the journey, is when I would be massaging, and the clients would say, "Oh my God, you got healing hands." And I'm like, "Oh, what's this healing hands business?" Right. Okay. I Googled it. And so thanks, Google. So I Googled it, found healing hands. Oh, okay. This energy moved through me. And I was like, okay, there's a resonance here. And the more then I studied and journeyed through, and so I studied Reiki, then knew that I was working with energies that actually weren't Reiki. And I was like, oh, so I struggled a lot with sticking to the routine of, you know, doing the symbols and the channel. And then it got to a point where I just had to trust in what I was having come forward, because I was having visions of shaman energy, of past life, priestess energy. Like there was all this other information coming forward. And then the next catalyst of my awakening was when I received, I went to Guatemala. I activated through, Aveni was activated through doing a spiritual journey over there. And I heard, you know, welcome back home. And I was like, okay, no worries. And I received Aveni, because Cherie's my birth name. I received Aveni probably about 7 years ago. And it was a year before that in number plates. And I asked what my spiritual name was. What's my soul's name? And it came through in this way. And I was like, really? Right? Okay. So I Googled, what does Aveni mean? And there's, you know, thinking it's some goddess, right, from ancient cultures. Well, there's nothing in there apart from a company that works with, get this, energy and magnetics. Amazing. And I was like, oh, okay. So it took me a lot to really embody that and trust in that. So as my years went on with my consciousness development and, you know, learning and studying quantum healing. So now, you know, I do transformational mentoring, quantum healing. It's been really an act of trust each time, and to really like step into claiming and saying, hey, yeah, this is who I am, because we've been told to fit in that box, right? As kids, you know, don't get out of that box, don't look outside of that box. And so it was a really big time for me to shift into that. And then another episode or an episode experience was I felt this huge galactic calling, and I really connected to the Arcturians intensely. And I felt this massive download come to me, had this huge vision in front of me of seeing many lifetimes coming to this planet before Atlantis as an Arcturian, right? And not being accepted. And I was like, oh shit. So there was big working on to be seen in that energy. So I know now, and I now, you know, embody that galactic alchemist. I now embody that Aveni energy of the Arcturian frequency. And so it's been really huge. I've never actually publicly spoken about it like that, only in my little small group. So I guess this is another part of an awakening, right? When we trust in ourselves and we say, yep, this is it. And so for me, my passion is really about awakening human consciousness into their light body, to remember their innate soul, to remember that we are divine beings having a human experience. And, you know, this has come forward, as you know, with a new birthing of chakra consciousness for me, and trusting in that channel. So I feel awakening is always happening. We are always accelerating and up-leveling and upgrading our system and our consciousness to continue to awaken. And we send those pulse waves of energy out into the collective and to, you know, our family. Like I see my girls come to me after I've just done a big healing. And when they were younger, they would come with sacred geometry drawings to me. I was like, see, they're picking up on the energy. Or they say, oh, Mummy, you know, the violet ray is an energy that I work with a lot. And they would come to me and say, Mummy, I had a dream that I was just in this bubble of the violet energy surround. And I went, oh, yeah, see, they picked up. I sent them that, cocooned them, you know, because they were having nightmares. And so when we raise our energy, we're in alignment with our own energy and our own soul, and we're partaking in that, like you were saying, that consciousness, and we're partaking in sending that out and being in alignment with that, it radiates out into every corners of the world. And I think that's where you were saying, now we get to create our own reality.
Totally. And, you know, if we just listening to what you're saying, it sounds like ignition moments to me. Igniting the heart, igniting ignition moments. And that it's like, it's always there. It's always there. And then you ride that roller coaster for a little while, and then you go again. You know, there's another ignition moment. So we work with cycles and rhythms. We are beautiful souls and, you know, human beings here working with different cycles, and through those cycles shifting through the different moments and growing and learning and being and experiencing. And it's so important through these awakening moments to not draw yourself away from why you've come here. Okay, what is it that you've come here to do? And to really truly experience the human experience, but still have that real connection with your divinity, with your soul light, and be that channel for the divine that and messages, and like you say, the Arcturian technologies and information and whatever, all the beautiful messages that we can channel through and share with humanity. And Craig, sorry, Aveni. Craig, what do you have to say about all of this?
we'll go with. I wrote some notes.
Oh, good.
I
Okay.
love all this. The way I see it, I actually see it in messages of the spiritual community too. We all are sharing a frequency, an experience that, you know, Gaia or the universe is sending us, and we use our experiences in life and our conscious thought to express into words what it is that we think is coming through. And when we do that, we see the similar messages within other people's insight. So a little bit of a note on me. So I do meditations, and when I sleep, I get into this space, I guess, where stuff comes to me, and you actually feel. It's not a thinking. You feel the concept of what it is, and then when I come out of it, I don't have it with me. I got my little voice recorder, and I record what's coming in. So we're all experiencing the same thing expressed in different ways. I take a very practical approach, but I see the message in Aveni's experience about it. She says it's an act of trust, and it absolutely is. That's one of the first key things that anyone who's awakening into their own spiritual potential needs to understand. There's no outside help here. You've got to look inside and find what it is that you think is right, and even if it happens to be wrong, what you'll find is a learning experience through that act of trust, and um, you'll have a little bit more faith in yourself to be able to follow that trust. And with those combinations, when you learn those things, the faith and the trust, you'll get confidence in knowing which way your individual path is going.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and Cath's one. What have I got? Oh, yeah. Stay away from the fear. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is step number one. Always, 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 always. But a little thing within that moment of stepping away from the fear, it's still a fear-based thought. It's there for a reason, but within that fear is what's the message behind the universe? Why is there fear? Why? What kind of strength do I not have, or do I, as an individual, hand off my power to someone else? So there's behind that fear is a little clue to the universal will that will strengthen your inner character. And if we can all look past the fear first and see, oh, what's happening here? Why am I experiencing this? And I think someone mentioned generational problems.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very pertinent point on this fear base, because we pick up a fear from generational passings on.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're the one that's actually smashing that generational fear and finding some sort of strength, like I said, even if it's not particularly the right tool at the right time, it's all a learning experience, and it will heal later on. The universe will actually bring you back to a point after you've calmed down and you've got a bit of an experience here. It'll bring you back to the point and make you realize, well, this has happened before, but now I'm a stronger person. How could I alchemize this little journey a little bit more?
I think it touched on my greatest fear, funnily enough.
It always does.
Yeah, it touched on my greatest fear in the sense of when I thought I had, well, when I knew I had a voice then in my head that I considered not to be for my best or highest good. I think went back to some sort of generational aspect of voodoo. And this was quite frankly the biggest test of my entire life, because it was like, okay, this is a worm in your head, and this worm in your head can put you in a psychiatric hospital. So it's like, how do I manage this? And then when you realize that, okay, I can manage this. I have to do a lot of blocking, and I have to find out how I can manage it, but I managed it. And the first thing I did was go to the ocean.
Yeah.
So, and the ocean is very healing for me. And then it became the catalyst for change to go to the ocean, because this is what I've been missing is those ocean vibrations. So yes, if to really express to people that, because someone said, well, why do you carry on with it if it's been so bad? You know, just be happy in what you're doing. And I thought, you can't go back. You can't go back. This is just so magnificent that I can now move through it more confidently and ask. I mean, it took me a while to even, when it happened to me, I had the curtains closed. It was coming up for a full blue moon. It was coming up to Halloween's night, and I had the curtains shut at 4 in the afternoon. I mean, it was ridiculous, but that's how the fear grabbed you, and then it started to dissipate. And then it's like, it's so beautiful. Since all of that, you put that's over there. That has happened. I'm not denying it, but I'm not dwelling on it. I'm learning from it and growing from it, and here I am, being able to help other people, if you like. Through any mental, I suppose, aberrations that might come up, so we can get through this. You know, you're supported, you are helped. You don't have to be like this, living in fear. So I'm hoping through joy, gratitude and joy, that you can, let's lift those vibrations, because it can be done. I've done it. I've been there. I've looked at the void, and I just stepped way away from the edge. It's like, oh no, thank you.
What a beautiful tool, Cath.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a tool really. It's a way of being, right? It's like a real choice point. Go, this is not who I am, because what is our natural state? Our natural state is love, right? It is compassion, it is joy, it is happiness, it's kindness, it's all of those things wrapped in one. And so when we look at our fear, which at the moment or at that moment feels really real, and we go, well, this is only our perspective or perception of where we are in that now moment. And then when we can take that now moment and go, okay, well, what do I want to be? And how can I manage this fear now? Do I want to be fearful for the rest of my life? Or, a lot of awakening moments can be so profound for people that they go into a state of shutting down again because they don't understand it. And I feel like this is why Spirit Talks was born, to really give people an understanding that it's okay to go through an awakening moment, and that there are many different aspects of it that you navigate, and that you don't have to have all the answers. And yes, if you're afraid, it's okay to reach out to those people that you can talk to, that doesn't always want to give you the advice, but can listen and hold you in safe embrace whilst you're moving through this as well, whilst you choosing for yourself, whilst you are standing and moving back into your own sovereignty and your own free will of what it is that you want to do. Because that's what we are here as guides, right? We're not here to tell people or make people do things. You choose for yourself. This is your life, your journey. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, and having such a beautiful empowered journey through it. Yes, in the moment it's difficult. it's really, it feels hard and it's real, and it feels like your life is gonna explode, or you like you say, you just want to draw the curtains and stay underneath the blankets and not come out.
Yes.
But it's like, hang on, there's a whole world out there waiting for you. There's a whole world waiting for you and your light. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you can get over all of
Yes.
this and past all of this and get out of your own way, man, there's so much magic out there for you.
Absolutely. If you also think of it too, Nat and Cath, what you were expressing about that fear, and this will be great for a lot of people listening, when we go through our spiritual awakening, fear is the first energy and has to be the first energy to come up, because it is the energy of the root chakra. Now, if we talk about our consciousness awakening, and or they call it Kundalini awakening, whatever, however you want to call it, right? Our consciousness awakening, our spiritual evolution, the awakening of our true self, and then the breaking down of the matrix, like let's go there, begins in that root chakra. Fear has to be the first one that pops up to say, you know what, come on, are you sure? You sure? And we are generationally programmed from the moment we have been born, from back in the caveman days, to have that as our embodiment, fear. It kept us safe to some point. But here in our spiritual evolution, and because we're so, bombarded with this fear frequency, the stimulation's a lot higher than what our body can, attain and move through. And I think one of the key thing is when we're interfacing off with fear, it's really always predominantly embodied. We feel it tangibly in the body. One of the beautiful things, I love what you were sharing, Cath, it was like you gave it a context of what it looked like. You said, okay, I can see what this looks like. This is how it feels like it's connected to me. This is where I'm seeing it lineage-wise, or ancient timelines and past lives, maybe even connected to. So when we give our attention, our conscious connection to what it looks like, what it feels like, and we can then start to separate ourselves from that and go, right, that's where that is, but this is me. That's when the healing begins, right? Because we alchemize it. We really start to detach from that attachment.
Yeah.
That's
really
powerful.
And it's very powerful. And I've since then become an observer. So I'm a very big observer. And funnily enough, Natalie mentioned it the other day in one of her talks, and she loves the word observer, but I'm an observer, and I observed throughout the whole COVID thing, all the different platforms, all the different stuff on it. But I stepped away completely and didn't invest myself in it.
Yeah.
And some may say that's not their path. They want to be stepping into the fray. But for me, it didn't serve me to do that.
Yeah.
And that's how I've sort of begun to become about most things. It's like step out and just take a look on the broader spectrum, because there's always a greater picture.
Yeah.
And we're playing so small when we step too closely into things.
Absolutely.
So I think that was also the learning curve from the fear thing, is like step outside, like just like you're saying, you step outside it. This doesn't belong to me.
Yeah.
This is not who I am. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And
Yeah,
Craig,
can I
what do
touch
you
on
want to
some
say?
of that too?
Sure, go for it.
Firstly, going back to, I like to break things down to their most basic thing, because when you go through that process, quite often what you find through the process is a way to strip off the excuses of this, that, and the other, and you come down to the core truth of things and yourself, and that in itself is a scary place. But I'd like to go back to sovereignty, because that is the the thing, the golden star in the sky. We all need to be aware of our divine sovereignty here on earth. So there is such a thing like the magic energy weavers of different cultures and all that kind of stuff. They can apparently draw power from, you know, past, present, and future perspectives of their own inner soul. You can come to this world and say, I cancel all my previous soul contacts. Selenite's a really good crystal for cord cutting. And call back your divinity, call back your power. And yes, you've got a wand.
I've got so many.
Awesome.
Wow, sword.
That's great. And yeah, call back your divinity, call back your power. And Cath's hit the nail on the head with the things that's happening at this current time. There is a great big energetic shift. We'll call it energetic shift. It doesn't really matter what kind of label you put it on it. You don't have to use the C word. But there is a shift in humanity, and it is cause and effect. It is always cause and effect. So if you want to look at cause and effect in on the global scale, what's happened is they've pushed the pendulum to one side. The law of nature will always come back to balance. So they can't force the pendulum one way without the rhythm having flow back the other way. So, and this is what we're here for. No longer are we so co-independent with a societal structure that is constructed on a mental scale. We're shifting into the 5D consciousness, which means we have to go through 4D. So transitioning from 3D to 4D is all about the truth coming out. And that's exactly what's happening. But our goal and our shift has got to be into the 5D, and it's got to be into the inner self and the elevation of our own soul. And this is the message I like to pass on to people who are making these evolutionary jumps and processes is keep your eyes inwards. Do not worry about anything at all that you cannot control. The best thing you could possibly do in your life is to look after yourself, your own fear, happiness, all that kind of stuff. Create joy, create positive experiences. And if you can, make someone else's life a little bit better, just a little bit better. Because if we take care of one person, let's just say it's a mother from another family who's having another struggle. If she goes back to that family with a positive mindset, with a more open heart, with a generous, loving, sharing feeling, that love's spread. And it can't necessarily be stopped. So if we can just help each other, elevate each other just a little bit and go on our own inner journeys, trust that the other people are doing the same, we will be the ones that shift to the 5D whilst people remain in a 3D consciousness. Now, I don't have any thoughts on how that exactly is going to happen. Like, you know, Star Trek, people get beamed up onto alien ships or anything like that.
Not quite.
I'm more practical than that.
Exciting.
I see the divide already. There are people that are 3D now and they're fear-based, and they are going to go the way of control and technology and be in that thing, in that container. And there's people that are going to be 5D, sharing the same space, but going a different way. All about energy and natural healing and connection with nature and grounding and everything that we're about. And the challenge for every single soul is every single day, which way are we heading? Which way do we want to go? How do we want to create our reality?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's an
totally.
interesting drop-in that I got a while back, and it's a very simple one, and it was meditate, co-create, activate.
Whoa.
Love it.
Powerful.
3 simple things, and I think if we
Mm.
keep that one in our hearts, it's a template.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's a
I've got a
3
similar one.
triangle. Sorry, Craig, go.
I've got meditation, mantra, and manifestation.
Mm.
Ooh.
Ooh, I like these. Write them
Mm.
down, people.
I want to say something on that triangle, Nat, that you're saying. Yesterday, I connected to, Gaia TV.
Mhm.
Just something came up, and it's been coming up for a while, and I watched it. It was a bit of Atlantean stuff and stuff like that. Anyway, they were talking about the pyramids, and this is the perspective of what you're saying, Craig, 3D and 5D. Where does that look, right? How does that shift? How do we activate that? Where are we going? Some people believing it's actually a new earth. Well, no, it's energetically a frequency. Mother Gaia is already there herself. It's her beloved humans that aren't, right? And when I saw this perspective, I was like, holy crap, this totally makes sense. We see pyramids as the pyramid, right? He said, because we see them with our 3rd dimensional eyes. But when we connect energetically to them, when we connect to the stars and the planet alignments and the star alignments, when we connect to our inner vision, we'll actually see that a pyramid is a light vehicle, a spaceship of sorts, that is actually a diamond, which then connects to your Merkaba, which is the light vehicle, right? And so it was like, I was like blown away, because our physical eyes are only seeing that one dimension. When we go with that inward journey, open up our consciousness and say, show me more. And this is where trust comes in again, right? We have to really trust that what we're seeing. Yeah. And then, and see that, that the bottom part of that pyramid.
And this is what I teach in Centaura, that there is we have an extended vehicle. Okay. So quantum rings of velocity was channeled through my spirit team, that it's an extension of our energy vehicle as such. So it makes total sense to me that, we are the diamond, we have diamond hearts, and we have these different facets of us that's shining through that. So yeah, why not? Everything is possible. And I love the word that you said earlier on, Craig, about spiritual potential. What we're talking about now is spiritual potential. It's the potential to access other information, being able to really let those little bits of golden nuggets land for you. Just like when Cath, you talked about the 3, immediately I saw this triangle, and the triangle to me is such a powerful, solid vehicle, if you want to call it that, to be able to move through life. It's mind, body, spirit, but it really solidifies and anchors you in a different way. And that can be through your words as well. It can be in relationships as such as well. So yeah, really, really amazing stuff.
It is. And just to let people know that my name is Cath Beattie, and that's great, but I was guided to be called Crystal Heart.
Oh, wow.
I Beautiful. Know. And it's bonkers, because I've never veered towards that style of talking. And I said, oh, come on, are you serious? Like Crystal Heart? And they drew me the crystal, so the diamond.
Yeah, wow.
And then I had to take the leap of faith and change my Facebook name. And I thought, well, I may as well, no point in me trying to reach the converted. I'm just going to put it out on my regular Facebook page, which was like a leap of faith, because people know me as Cath, and it's like, who? What?
Who's Cath now?
But everything I bring in is all around the heart, and it's all about crystal energy. And I said, okay, I understand. I understand why I'm called this name. And
Yeah, I want to talk about that actually, Cath, because I feel that being ordained, this is what Spirit told me, with your spiritual name, okay, is such an awakening moment for you. It's like parts of you, parts of your soul, or parts of you that you didn't even know existed, comes back to you through you and really stepping into acceptance of your spiritual name. And I remember the moment it happened for me, because Spirit said to me, look, you're going to be called something different. And I went, what? What are you talking about? And they said, also, you're going to be doing a lot of different things and wearing different hats, but eventually you'll be known as this name. And when it happened, I was sitting at my kitchen table and I was busy in a channeling session, as I do, and the light was streaming, the sun was streaming in, and it was a beautiful energy. And I just heard Leilia. Oh, okay, what's that? And as soon as I said it, my whole body lit up. Even now, when I say that name, my whole body lights up. And they said, there's two parts to it, Leilia Neveya. And when I sat in the energy of that, it just felt like a cozy warm blanket. And they said to me, this is your name. This is your spirit name. Use it wisely because it carries a frequency. And it was such an awakening moment for me that I went through to be able to really embody those ancient codes, that ancient soul that I am, and bring all parts of that back into this physicality, into this beautiful reality that we get to live here. So tell me about what
had
was
a beautiful
your catalyst. Sorry, go Aveni.
Beautiful Palladian and Atlantean frequency that had, my love. I felt it.
Yeah, I feel it in my whole body when I say the word, and I don't use it just for anything. It is, to me, that name is sacred, you know. And Spirit is like, well, you're gonna have to start putting it out there more often, because this is who you are. This is the frequency of your soul, you know. So absolutely share it. So I get it. But what was one of your amazing catalysts for change in your life? If you think about that big aha moment, apart from Cath, what you shared, obviously, but something that really changed things for you in your life to do what you now are doing in this world.
I think for me, I remember I've got so many thoughts, but this one I'll just share. I was at a train station waiting for my parents to pick me up, and this guy sat down next to me. I was quite young. I was only in my early 20s. And he said, you know, nice to meet you. And I'm thinking, okay, this is just really creepy because he's older and I'm, you know, really young, and I was alone, you know, so I was just being really, and the area that I was in wasn't the best areas, right? And I had my beauty uniform on, and the salon that I worked for was called Venus Beauty Therapy. Of course, right? Anyway, and then he actually started the conversation by saying, Venus Beauty Therapy. And then I was just like, okay. And this conversation started happening, and he was telling me about all his, you know, physical experiences through going to court about some things and all this stuff that he was just talking to me about. Now I always get random people just talking to me, right? But what got me is when he said, I'm sorry, I haven't introduced myself. And I said, okay. And he said, my name is Gabrielle.
Oh my gosh.
And I went, and he goes, yeah, that's right.
Holy potato.
I went, that's an angel, and goes, yeah, there's many of us here.
Oh,
wow.
And I was like, right, okay. That's my boy. So funny. He's actually
just confirming.
Yeah, he's completely deaf. He's completely deaf and blind on one eye. He's just a legend. He just feels energy. So that's a perfect example. Then anyway, this car turned up, and the man in there, don't know how he knew. Well, maybe he just knew that we were talking. He's nodded to me. They had this massive crystal hanging off the what's it called, the visor, and then they took off. Now, when they took off, it's quite a fair distance between where you couldn't see the car again. So all I did was I turned that way and went, holy moly, that was just amazing. Turned straight back and the car had disappeared. And that, I would have to say, is probably my most younger years awakenings.
Wow.
And visit from spirit.
That's a big one. It's like, hello, here I am. Are you ready for it? This is what I feel. Oh, Aveni, that's amazing.
Yeah, and he was dressed in, like the movie, with the angel. Oh my God, he had the big leather jacket on. City of Angels.
City of Angels, yeah.
And that was around that same time. And I was like, oh God.
Love it. Amazing. And also, if anyone else that's listening to this have had any experiences like this, please, let us know in the comments, or let us know when you're listening to this. And I feel that they walk amongst us. Okay. We think that they're unobtainable. The angels are just, hovering above us, that we only see them through our third eye vision or our consciousness. That's not true. They walk amongst us. And I remember sitting with my friend and we were having breakfast, and this random man in a bus outfit, a bus driver, came up to us, and he went, hello ladies, just out of nowhere. And he had a really friendly, beautiful smile. And now I don't, we always think, oh my goodness, why is this person talking to me? What do they want? What do they want to say to me? And you kind of take a step back. But now that I know what I know, I give everybody space and time to speak and attention, because that can change your life.
Absolutely.
That moment can change your life. And I remember him saying to me and my friend it was about what was going on in America. And he said, Trump is no longer going to be, on his chair as such, something like that. And I went, that's a random thing to say, and this was at the time where things were shifting a lot and that. And he says, yeah, but we don't have to worry about anything. It will all be okay. The world will be fine. And then he goes, have a beautiful day. And he walks off. Wow. And I'm like, and I got goosebumps. And my friend and I just looked at each other and went, what was that? And then when everything started unfolding the way it was unfolding, it all made so much sense. And it was actually because we were having a conversation about what was, happening in the world. And randomly this beautiful, I believe, spirit just came in and said, it's going to be okay. This world will be fine. So we have those moments that we just remember, that just changes your life, and that helps you remember actually to be grateful and to really allow space for things to come into your life, don't you?
And you can imagine how many people he would have connected to and said that, just to add light in their life, just to ease their anxiety that may, what might be coming up. That's a gift, that's absolutely powerful.
We've actually gone 13 minutes over, but I feel like we can keep talking for a little bit. Are you all okay for time?
Yeah.
We can continue going on. Okay.
Time doesn't exist, right?
No. Irrelevant. Actually,
that's right. I've had so many drop-ins regarding time, trying to show me perspectives and time, and drawings. I get lots of drawings on time and perspective. You can see things over there and you can touch it, and you feel like you can touch it, but actually it's far away, but it's not far away. And that's what they're talking about, how time is. It's this shifting, not there reality thing. So I get lots of stuff like that. But my drop-in I've had lots and lots of really very, very cool drop-ins, but the one, I think the super nice one that confirmed where my ability started to be to be shown was getting a phone call in the middle of the night, and I picked up the telephone off the bed, and there was a Pearl Jam song on, and on video, and I'm going, okay, all right, went back to sleep. I'm walking up the hill the next day and I went, oh my God, I had a dream last night. What was that dream? Oh my God. Now, the telephone was not on my bed. The telephone is down in the office. I don't keep a telephone on my bed. And basically, I went, oh my God, it was a message. What was the message? And the message, it was a Pearl Jam song. What was the Pearl Jam song? And it was called Just Breathe. And I've never heard of it before. Never heard of it before. And not long before, my ex-partner, who I love dearly, had died. And I got the message. And if you listen to the words of the Pearl Jam song, the very last bit, well, all of it is very beautiful. And I've had lots of messages through songs. The very end part says, I'll see you on the other side.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
Beautiful.
And it was one of those profound moments. And we get so many of them now, don't we? So many profound moments. They almost become commonplace, but they're like, that's another profound piece of information I've just got. And then you try and share it with someone and you go, these are like coming in like through me. And I just want to let you know, because for me, they're so profound. They're so wildly profound.
And that changes your life, right? Those moments, they change your life. And this is why I'm asking, what was the biggest catalyst for you for change to bring you to where you are now? Because I feel like we don't often think about that moment. Yes, we know it happened. We've experienced it, but in a sense, it's like we don't really understand the enormity of it, the enormity of that change, because it's so interweaved into everything that we do, right? But like I said, when it lands for you, and it truly lands for you, and you go, well, what can I take from this? What can I learn from this? That's when you then start taking steps to changing your life, and to then writing a book that is freaking amazing, and then to being a multi author or whatever, and to doing the work that you're doing, Aveni and Cath. Then you step into, you are then the catalyst for change, because you have experienced that change in that profound, or in those different little moments that you are moving through life. Craig, what was yours?
I'd like to go off the back of pretty much all of that. I see we're all funneling in the same message once again. So the music messages that Cath gets, there is literally information all around us all the time, like with synchronicities. I could rattle off so many things: animals, signs, feathers. Just go on and on and on. But what people need to understand and realize is the faith perspective is really real. And it doesn't matter what you want to believe in. If you want to be an atheist, I'll get into this in a second. I come from an atheist perspective, and I've evolved from that into like a faith perspective. So you can use any kind of religion or faith, spirit, angels, dragons, unicorns, mermaids, whatever. But that faith perspective is a real thing. They are trying to communicate with us, and if we're all too busy in the fear-based head place, where we're worrying about this, that, and the other, and we're not trusting on our inner selves and the lessons we've learned in life, just to nail things as they come along, we're confused. We're not in that space where we can listen to our intuition, our inner tutor. So, like, coming back to the what I see from the atheist perspective, I saw two major shifts in my life that took me from atheist to spiritual based. And the first one was really young, and it was through fear again. Really young. I was in primary school. I had medical condition, which meant I had migraines daily, thick glasses. It turns out my spine was out. I had an overwhelming feeling of love and joy and peace, until one day that was all snapped out. And like, even through that fear thing, it was like plastic wrap that's over your eyes, and so a couple of layers get peeled off. And I was like, oh, well, some of that feeling's gone, but you've got a little bit of mental perspective on how to operate within this life. Next one came when I was about 14, and I had a tutor, and after school tutor. He was a great old man, still the nicest person I've ever met. He was definitely an angel on this earth. Whether he was just a great person or something else, I don't know. But he was just a great person, and his actual life ended in a heart attack, helping his ex-wife move into the next man's house. That's how beautifully he was. And it was only at that point in my life that I thought life was starting to get good. Like, I was starting to get past learning issues. He was a person that, I could feel I could trust. He was dependable. He was reliable. He was kind. He was patient. He was just everything I needed. And then it was just taken from me. As soon as I felt like a little bit of dependence on someone, bang, he's gone. And but in that experience, not only was another couple of layers of cling wrap taken off your eyes, I felt a light. I felt an enlightening in that. And I actually hoped that he was up there looking after me, looking over me. And I look back now and I see those two shifts and how it graduated to a faith perspective, that there are not just, potential people on this plane of existence that have passed over looking after you. We come to this place with a soul team as well. We're here to create and to overcome the forgetting of the soul's journey from source, splitting in two, so that we land on this place with lessons to learn. And we are guided, but we need to be able to be in a place of a presence, I would say. Heart and mind combined presence, to be able to look inwards and see, this is the matrix of everything that's being shown to me in this place on this specific day. We can only change things in the present. What is the universe showing me with this event that's happening before my eyes?
Love that.
All of that, yes. There is, I feel, and this is something that keeps on coming in for me in spirit, wanting me to share it. So I was told a while ago that actually the third dimensional timeline has completely torn away now, and that there is no longer the people that are in the third dimensional timeline is in that third dimensional timeline, and only beings that are doing the work can go and get those people, help them to come up to that next level or that next frequency. And a lot of my awakening moments, I think, was also during a Nexus Point event that I experienced quite recently. And I wrote about this in my book, where I was sitting in the lounge and all of a sudden my lounge was no longer my lounge. It looked different, it felt different. And I found myself standing in a ship, looking out above the earth and seeing loads and loads of beings and ships surrounding the earth, and streaming or hearing and feeling this frequency, this profound, really, really powerful frequency that was being streamed into the earth. And they told me straight away this was a Nexus Point event that happened, which is a merging and a combining of timelines, collapsing of timelines. And this was a very pivotal moment. And when you experience something in the physicality like that, like, hang on a minute, your TV is no longer your TV. It's a screen on a ship all of a sudden. It's you know, you can't explain this to someone, but it's another one of those moments that changes your life. And you know that there's some much greater things happening here for humanity than what we can even comprehend. So all is possible within the infinite universe, right? All is possible. And I feel like every single moment that we go through, if we can really be present to what that moment gifts us, really be present to find the growth, the beauty, the understanding of that moment, we can move forward as a civilization in such a greater way. And in terms of the third dimensional timeline that has, you know, torn away, if that's what the words that they used were, it's torn away. We're in that fourth dimensional state now, where we have the ability to be able to see shadow and light, and the playing out of the shadow and light. And yes, there are many people going through awakenings or ignitions or soul remembrances, whatever you want to call it. And it's so important for you to not lose your mind through all of this. Okay, to not lose your marbles, and to really come back to what is true for you, what feels right, what feels good for you, because there's a lot shifting. And sometimes most of the time our human wants to understand what's going on. It wants to make sense of it, right? But my soul was like, chill, sit back, relax, sister. You know, don't take life so seriously. Just let it be. It's all happening for the highest, greatest good. And, you know, there's many other times I can share. And maybe this is another pivotal one that I need to share, because they're showing me. It was when I met myself and my dragon self, which I first was a man with these really raging eyes of flame, very, very intense, potent eyes. And he showed me these different beings from where we were in the universe, these different beings down towards the earth, and each carrying a torch. It's like that we were literally passing the torch on to the next one and the next one down to the earth, and that there's so many different beings, so many different civilizations and people that's working behind the scenes for humanity, for our earth, and just one thing that's very important as well, what we do here on earth has a huge impact into the universe, because we're all one. So what we mess up here, if you can call it mess up, it ripples out into the universe. And it's like, then it comes back again, and we're having to go through rectifying. You know, I don't believe that there's a right and a wrong. I don't believe that there's a good and a bad necessarily. Okay, it is simply what's happening in the moment, and it's your choice point, and it's about coming back to that feeling, what feels right for you right now, what feels good. How can you come back into your sovereignty? How can you come back to your truth, your divinity? And yeah, for people that's navigating this awakening or their awakenings and their experiences, know that there's nothing wrong with you. Okay. It's all perfectly divine, beautiful. It's meant to happen. Just don't get yourself sucked down in a different matrix or a spiritual matrix or whatever you want to call it, where you feel removed from yourself again. Always come back to what's my truth. Yeah. Craig, did you want to add anything?
No, that was so perfect. I would just point out to choose, like you were saying, choose within the moment. There's causation and effect. The 7 Hermetic principles can help people kind of navigate that aspect of conscious thought into a spiritual way of being, but you don't even need to go there. There's just choice, and whatever choice you choose is the right choice.
Yeah.
So,
in the moment, hey?
in the moment.
So, Aveni, is there anything else that you want to add and say, because we've got to wrap it up soon? Is there anything that you want to leave the listeners with?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that one important key thing for the expansion of consciousness that's happening on the planet, people just like rapidly awakening, that triggers that fear, is to come back to the heart and listen to your intuition, right? Listen to your inner guidance, listen to your inner soul, your body soul wisdom communicating to you what feels right and what doesn't feel right. Because I have received probably in 2020 that there was a lot of not so much good energies coming through the spiritual communities to keep them trapped in that victim cycle. And so the key to getting out of that is, one, not fearing it, identifying the fear, bringing a hand to the heart and asking for your highest love and light to come through, and your guidance and your team, like Craig was saying, and reach out to those who light you up, who you get the tingles with when you're connecting with, who make you remember the lightness and the joy of who you are and the love that stimulates within. And that is your key to the steadfast commitment of your awakened journey, and just trusting in that.
And if I might just add that when one of the very first drop-ins I got when I first had that click was that I didn't particularly like humanity, but I love planet Earth and I love the animals, and I didn't like what was happening. And the very first point out I got was, you cannot help Mother Earth or the animals if you cannot love humanity. Yes. And you cannot love humanity if you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
That's a mic drop. That's a mic drop.
That is, there's so much truth in that. And yes, it starts with you. Love yourself. Yes. Oh, I can honestly continue talking about the subject, and there is a part 2 to this, so I actually have some more speakers coming on. But as always, you know, there's going to be many different topics and things in Spirit Talks that you guys can tap into and be part of another panel talk, which I would love to have you back and to come and share your wisdom and your medicine, because this is medicine for the soul, right? It's so beautiful. So thank you so much. So where can people find you if they want to go and check out your work? Can you share with us?
Yeah, for me, just on Facebook. At the moment, my website's being upgraded, so Facebook, Instagram, just through there.
Sure. And I'll share the links as well on the videos. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm Crystal Heart Energy on Facebook.
Beautiful. Craig, and you?
And me, just on Facebook at the moment. I've got a lot of platforms. I've got a Zoom platform as well. Magnetic Transformations on Facebook. And I have a small group called Spiritually Connected Australia. I'll be creating a new workshop group after the Warriors of Light launch, just for people to help my clients come through and experience a little bit of a one-on-one and masterclass kind of area.
Beautiful. Yes, I'm with Craig in the Warriors of Light book project, so I'm very excited to be part of you, dear soul brother, or be part of this project with you, dear soul brother. I believe that souls gather in a specific place and a specific project, very, very powerful souls, and when we co-create and we bring all our magic, it just ripples out to the whole world, and can create the profound change that is so needed in this world. Hey,
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you for bringing your
Thank you,
beautiful
everyone.
cards, and have an amazing day. Thank you so much to all the listeners and the watchers. Until we speak again, see you soon.
Thank you.